Imagine you're promised free train rides for life, and then Congress passes a law banning free passes. The railroad refuses to honor your deal, so you sue. But before the court even looks at your contract, the Supreme Court slams the brakes and says, "Wrong court. Case dismissed." This is 99 Rights Are Online, and today we are looking at the 1908 common law case, Louisville N Co v. Mottley, the case that built federal question jurisdiction. The Mottleys were injured in a railroad accident, and as part of a settlement, the Louisville and Nashville Railroad promised them lifetime free passes. Then, decades later, Congress passed the Hepburn Act of 1906, banning free passes to prevent corruption. The railroad refused to renew the Mottleys' passes, claiming that federal law had now made the contract illegal. So, the Motleys sued in federal court to enforce the contract. But there was no diversity of citizenship, so the only way into federal court was a federal question. Diversity of citizenship is a basis for federal jurisdiction that applies when the parties are from different U.S. states, or when one party is a U.S. citizen and the other is a foreign citizen. It is designed to reduce the risk of local bias that might arise if a state court heard a dispute involving an out-of-state litigant. When diversity exists, and the amount in controversy exceeds $75,000, a federal court may hear the case. Here's the twist. The federal issue surfaced only as an anticipated defense. The railroad planned to argue that the Hepburn Act of 1906 rendered the contract void. What did the Hepburn Act of 1906 strengthen federal regulation of railroads by giving the Interstate Commerce Commission the power to set maximum railroad rates? It also expanded federal oversight by requiring uniform accounting practices and extending the ICC's authority to pipelines, bridges, and other transportation-related companies. But the Supreme Court said that's not enough. The Mottleys' underlying claim was nothing more than a straightforward contract dispute, classic state law territory. A case arises under federal law only if the federal issue appears on the face of the plaintiff's well-pleaded complaint. You can't manufacture federal jurisdiction by predicting the defendant's federal defense. This became the well-pleaded complaint rule, still used today. The court reversed and ordered the case dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. So, why does this matter today? Because it determines which cases get into federal court, which affects speed, fairness, resources, and national uniformity. Mottley protects federal courts from being flooded with state law cases dressed up as federal ones, and it forces lawyers to plead carefully. One free pass dispute, one jurisdictional rule, and a landmark decision that still controls the front door of every federal courthouse.
Smash that like button, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram and YouTube at 99 Rights Online for more legal quickies. Catch you later, and remember, knowledge is power. Stay informed, stay empowered, and keep fighting for what's right. See you next time. Liked this? If you found this information helpful and inspiring, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your friends and family.